Minister, ultimately, this story is about you and I. We have become insensitive is what I think the entire matter. Let me go to Sanjay K Chadha, who is an advocate, and then I go to the psychiatrist, Mr. Raheja, who's also joined us. Sanjay K Chadha, you know, this, what, will this take a long time? I'm asking you this on behalf of a lot of people. This happened in full public display, full public glare. It happened, then it should be, you know, हाथ कंगन को आरसी किया, पढ़े लिखे को फारसी किया. The police should be, you know, filing a charge sheet quickly. He's now been nabbed, and this case should be fast tracked. Do you know, you're a legal luminary. Do you see any kind of a delay in a case like this also, Sanjay ji?
What to say? I just want to quote what Jain Saab has quoted Nirbhaya's case. It took 8 years in Nirbhaya's case, where the entire media was lensing this case. Every day the matter was reported, every step was reported. Then it took 8 years. What will be the fate of any ordinary case? I don't know. Normally, from top to bottom or bottom to top, when we go from district court to high court and then Supreme Court, it takes 12 to 15, 20 years, one case. So no doubt, and I also totally agree with Dr. Jain Saab saying that it is not the police only. Yes, it is the entire criminal justice delivery system which is important. And you have very rightly said that the politicians who are the lawmakers, they will not care for it. We all have to now think that how the criminal justice delivery system has to be improved.
Yeah, because Sanjay ji, if you look at it, it was people's movement. I mean, you know, which in Nirbhaya's case, also in Priyadarshini Mattu's case, it was all also in Jessica Lal's case. When you and I, we went to the streets and said, nahi chalega, nahi chalega. I think to a great extent, the politicians were also pressured that we got to do something, and you saw all the top politicians arriving to be part of the candlelight march. So I think people, that's the most important thing in a democracy, and I think, you know, you can laugh at people and say, "Arey, ye to candle leke har baat pe pahunch jate hain." But the point is that the way people walked by, for me, that's the most shocking. You know, it could have been my child, it could have been your child, it could have been anyone's child. I mean, to die alone on that street, helplessly in a corner, you know, she did not deserve it, and that is what really has shocked me. If you ask Sanjay K Chadha, you know, I want you to focus on what Mr. Jain said, and that being the perpetrator, this arrested accused, is 20 years old. He says, Mr. Jain believes that no, it will be treated like the rarest of rare case. I mean, in cases like this, because you also said that, you know, we have to have fast track courts, but here, how do you look at it? Is that going to be a bit of a problem, Sanjay ji?
He is above 20 years, that means he is not a minor. So he'll be treated as a normal accused person, normal criminal. So the IPC will be applicable. And seeing the gruesome, shocking, inhuman act which is being done by this guy, I feel it is one of the incidents of rarest of the rare cases. Such an gruesome way of killing, you know, he has done what? Which is rarest, which must fall within the category of rarest of the rare cases, where the Supreme Court has very, very clear mandate that such person should be given, you know, at least minimum penalty should be, they should be hanged till death. So that is one part of it. Second, which I really appreciate and say, if that kind of scenario, that is, you know, if possible, the police, the friendly police goes into, I have seen such kind of police persons myself. I have seen them, you know, going to the street, meeting the people, everything is all right. And that kind of police, you know, constables, etc. are really now required. I feel they are absent now. Beat constables are not seen on the roads. There is a need of overhauling not only the total judicial criminal justice delivery system, but also police system is to, it needs so much, total overhaul is needed there.
Deepak, sorry, Sanjay ji, it was all seen after Munna Bhai MBBS was released. You saw police personnel giving euros. वो खत्म हो गया, ये भी खत्म हो गया. The thing is, we don't do anything. I mean, Mr. Jain was talking, you were talking about, no, it was Deepak Raheja who was talking about, of course, in London it happens. But the cops in London, it is amazing that the kind of involvement, of course, the population is very less. इधर एक पुलिस कर्मी के पास इतने लोग हैं संभालने के लिए, one understands all the problems. But the involvement which you spoke about, Sanjay ji, that how, like I was saying, if the beat constable, goes to every home and says, क्या हाल है, कहाँ है लड़का आपका आजकल दिख नहीं रहा, even to ask that question, because I have seen such cases, it helps. It puts the fear of God amongst rowdies.
I totally agree with you. What you just said, if that is the best possible scenario in such circumstances. Yes. We have we all know that we have scarcity of police persons. True. We need to, and lot of police reforms are needed. Supreme Court has in n number of cases said that police reforms are needed.
Sanjay K Chadha, let me come to you, and I think I am running out of time, so I am going to ask you. You said in a month's time a charge sheet will be filed. I am getting messages on my phone saying, एक महीना क्यों? Why a month? People are very impatient.
Yeah, एक महीना तो बहुत कम time है. एक महीने में अगर हो जाए तो I'll be the most happy person, I must say. But very rightly said, again, emphasis, entire criminal justice delivery system needs overhaul. Being very, very categoric and candid on this. Police needs lot of reforms. They stay in, if you go to the police stations in Uttar Pradesh, Jain Sahib is sitting, teen shed is there, and in scorching heat of 45 degree, the person out there is sitting there, no electricity is also there. Telephones are not there in more than 500 thanas in all over India. I have read it somewhere. In 2006, Prakash Singh judgment came. Supreme Court has given so many guidelines, minimum I think 15 guidelines were given by the Supreme Court. None of them have been followed because there is a lack of political will. Allow me to say one thing which is very, very important, that politicians don't want to leave the police out of their own changul. Jain Sahib will appreciate, अगर आपको एक FIR भी लिखानी है तो MLA साहब फोन करेंगे तब FIR होती है.
But you know what, Sanjay ji, today I am on the side of the child's parents. I don't care. I want justice. I know that you sit under teen sheds. I know you don't have a phone. I know you're sweating. I know that you're understaffed. I know that you have to listen to the politicians. I know that it's a very tough job. But I've lost my girl, I've lost my daughter. I think we all have lost our daughters, and I think it is high time that we seek answers. I've completely run out of time. My apologies, but thank you so much for this very, very informed conversation. Thank you, and Sanjay K Chadha, thank you very much. Like I said, we owe it to this child who was killed in such brutality and under public glare.